Hi everybody, it's Beton and Sip, and today we will be bringing you a shortened version of every video we made before about a limited format. So it will be a compressed version of how strong every color is, what are the best cards, what you should avoid, what you should play for. So, and few tricks and tips about the limited. So it will be a really important video to see before you go to your pre-releases this weekend.
Basically, the most important information about the limited in this set.
Okay, so let's start with the first slide, and it's a new mechanics.
Yeah, so the new mechanics in Shadows of the Galaxy are bounty. So when this unit is defeated or captured, your opponent collects the bounty. There is also smuggle. So the units can be played from for its smuggle cost from your resources. And also there is capture. So when the captured effect is played, the card allows you to put a unit face down under one of your cards, and the unit stays there until your unit is defeated or removed from the game in some way.
Okay. I will only add that for bounty, smuggle, and capture, there is some caveats. So, for exactly bounty, every unit with bounty in the game is weaker, not only because your opponent will gain something from the bounty, but also because there is a lot of units in this set that benefits from your opponent having a bounty. And even there is a leader, so boss will also benefit. If whenever you play a unit with bounty, boss will be happy. And for smuggle, the rule of thumb is that smuggle cost is +2 to the normal cost, but it basically draws you a card whenever you play it, because you are not losing the resource you paid it with. And with capture, it's a really good removal, but the creature may come back later and it may be a problem, so it's a little bit risky.
Capture is a tempo type of removal, and smuggle also makes late game of many decks quite a bit better, because you have those color cards in later stages of the game, so yeah, you don't have first unspent.
And with those new mechanics, we also updated the the leader tier list, because when we made a tier list a few days ago, we played few sealed like small tournaments or against each other in Tabletop Simulator, and during testing we discovered that there's few leaders that seemed much better than we expected, and there is also a leader that seems much worse. So I will start with the biggest change, at least for me, and it's Jabba. Jabba the Hutt went from the lower tier to the A tier and almost to the top of the A tier, and it's mostly because the ability to give bounty is really beneficiary for you in this set. There is a common minion, Reputable Hunter, a 3 mana 3/4, that whenever your opponent have a bounty, costs 1 less. So, and if you manage to grab few of those, your Jabba feels amazing, because playing a 3/4 unit on turn 1 feels just incredibly strong. Also, the fact that he came out on 7 is not that big of a deal, because Limited is a slower format, and he captures a card when he develops, which is a really big value. So considering all of those, he felt much stronger than we initially anticipated.
On the other hand, we have Fane, so the guy who we thought was slightly better, but turned out to be not the greatest. So with Fane, the thing is that even though he has quite good stat line for when he deploys, so he deploys at 5 and has 4/6 stat line, which is pretty good, but there is a pretty big problem with the fact that the blue heroic and blue neutral is not the greatest color combination for him. Like, it's better for auto leaders. He just doesn't really synergize with cards in this aspect, and that makes him significantly weaker than we initially thought.
Yeah. Like, after playing, we discovered that there is almost all the Vigilance heroic cards synergize with Ray and doesn't really synergize with Finn. And without the synergy with Ray, the cards were really underwhelming. So I don't think he's a really strong leader in this set. And lastly, we upgraded Hunter from the unplayable to the B tier, because if you don't, of course, if you have access to Boba Fett, play Boba Fett. He is better in every single aspect than Hunter. But if you don't have Boba, Heroic Green is still really strong color combination, and developing on 7 is late, but he makes up for it with his stats, and even the lack of ability, because this ability is basically non-existent, is the color combination and his stats make up for it enough that he is playable and in some cases even quite strong. And we also created a new tier for Afra, because she is such an unplayable leader that you shouldn't consider playing her ever.
Yeah, basically never ever play Afra.
Yeah.
Even though yellow canning is quite good, if the villainy canning in this set is good, just it's not really worth running her.
Yeah, just run any other leader and add canning to him, because like she will lose you more games because of her abilities than you will manage to win. So
yeah, exactly.
For that, just put her in the trash.
Yeah, let's move on.
Yeah.
So now we have Vigilance. So we are gonna talk about each color. So we picked the best common out of each combination of each color, and also one best uncommon for the neutral part of each color. So as you can see on the screen, those are the best cards for each combination of Vigilance. And in general, Vigilance in this set is mainly about upgrades, Mandalorians, and just units that don't have that much attack, don't have that much attack and HP, but have just quite okay abilities, like this Clan Ren Rescuer and some others. They just synergize well with Rey.
Yeah. I will also add that Vigilance has an access to the only removal for leaders, and they have 2 cards. So Rival's Fall, of course, removes anything, and Dragon's Fall removes if your leader have 5 or more attack. So
does it remove leaders?
Sorry, that's my mistake. It doesn't remove leaders. It has a caveat that it don't remove leaders. But they still have Rival's Fall, and it's a common. So whenever you play with Vigilance as your opponent, you should always consider that they can do it, because they are the only deck that will be able to do it. And also, Vigilance will be mostly focused on upgrades. So a lot of units will have upgrades, and you will need to try to play around it whenever you can. Okay, so the next color is Aggression. Aggression will be mostly focused on bounties in this set. There is a lot of strong bounty cards, and cards that benefit from your opponent having a bounty, like Jango Fett, like Thunderous Hunters, like Covetous Rivals, that have an effect that whenever they come into play, they will do something if they have a bounty. Also, Aggression has really good minions for their stats. So a lot of minions in Aggression has really good stat lines and don't really have amazing abilities. Of course, there is few that have really powerful abilities, like IG-11. But the weakness of Aggression is that they don't really have really strong removal, and we will be talking about it a little bit later. So you have minions that will be statted really above average, and you will have bounty synergy and bounty cards to play around.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, and next we have command.
Yeah, so command in this set is slightly weaker than it was in the previous one, but the command in general this time around in Shadows of the Galaxy is mainly about capturing units, having some bounty synergy and smuggle. So also they have ambush. There are quite a few good ones, like the modded Korot, the card that you can see on the screen, and also they're just good with Boba because Boba gives +1/+0 to basically each of your ambush units. So yeah, that's the main theme in green.
Yeah, I will only add that command in this set has a lot of units that do something when they enters play. So there is a bigger focus on it than before, and also that most of the units synergize really well with command leaders. So it will be mostly around building your deck in regards of what leader do you have and how strong your synergies are. And lastly, we have cunning, and we agree that cunning is the strongest color in Shadow of the Galaxy for the limited format. Especially villainy cunning, it's just incredible. Cunning will be mostly focused on ambush, so there is a lot of ambush cards in the set, and ambush is a really powerful mechanic for limited. Also, they have a bounty synergies, and they have at least for me, it's the strongest bounties, and the strongest benefits from bounties. So just whenever you look at your pool in the cards, always consider how strong your cunning is, because there is so many strong cards in this color this time around that it will be a lot of players will be playing it in the limited format.
I would say that the color that benefits the most from the bounty is probably red villainy. But yellow villainy also has quite a few cards that benefit from it as well.
The cards that benefit from the bounties, the red has the most. I think the yellow has, like, Leo has the Hunter of the Haxian Brood.
Yeah, exactly. Strong. And the Hunter is just great with bounty.
But I wanted to say that the bounties on their own are really strong in cunning.
Yeah, this color is mainly about ambush for sure.
Yeah. Okay, so now we will be talking about how strong the combinations of colors are, and we will be starting with the S tier. So cunning villainous is for us the strongest color in limited, and the amount of removal, ambush, and good statted units that will do more, that will trade up, so 2-for-1, 3-for-1, is leagues above anything else. So I think this will be the most dangerous color, and it has really good synergy with Vigilance.
Yeah.
So
yeah. So here's the thing about colors in general in limited. Like, you can take a look at this guy at this tier list, and keep in mind that maybe green villainy is not the greatest and yellow villainy is really strong. But the main thing you have to make sure that you need to keep in mind that leaders and the cards that you drafted are the most important, like which cards you have, because the yellow villainy might be technically the strongest color, but you just didn't end up with that many great cards in this color combination. So maybe another color is better. The one combination that is really worth mentioning is the blue heroic. So we called it a rapier, and the reason for that is because the fact that the units are not, they don't have that great stat line in this color, makes this color slightly weak. I mean, quite a bit weak since it's in a C tier. But Ray makes it basically S tier. Like all of those units that have just one power or they just don't have a great stat line, Ray can fix them by giving them experience tokens, and that makes this color combination really strong if you have the right leader.
I will also add that like this tier list, I think it's more for the draft than for sealed. So when you're drafting, you can like mentally prepare I know that Cunning Villainy is the strongest color, and it should probably will be the most picked color on the table. And whenever you decide on what colors you pick, of course you have the three leaders to choose from, but even though the leaders you will pick will determine what will be your options during draft. And for example, if you have Lando, you should like know, okay, heroic cunning cards are okay, they're not the strongest, but maybe because of it, a lot of people will be passing them, so I will still build a lot stronger deck than I should. And okay, cunning villainous cards are amazingly strong, but if like 6 people on the table will be drafting them, I may not get any good cards from this. So you will still be able to win tournaments even running a weak leader with a weak color combination, if you manage to get the greatest aspects of those colors.
Yeah, in drafts it's really important to just read the signs and just be like try to guess what the others are drafting around you, so you can make the best picks according to that.
Yeah, the really important part of draft is look at your left and your right, see what leaders your opponent have drafted. So if you like look at the side and you see like they have all villainous leaders, you should consider playing a heroic one, because they will be leaving really strong cards in heroic for you. And even if you would need to play Finn, it may be worth it, because you will be having much stronger deck than you would playing villainous that is a little bit stronger on paper. Okay, let's go to the next slide. And next we have we prepared this slide to keep in mind what removal is in each color. So it's of course common and uncommon removal for each color. And as you can see, Cunning has the most amount of removal.
Yeah. Also ambushes.
And red and green has the least amount of removal. And it's really important. The only removal in command is Take Captive. And Take Captive is not really a removal spell. Of course, it will remove a minion for a time, but it will come back. And Aggression only has removal that deals damage. So whenever you have a unit with shield, you will know that it's safe if your opponent only plays Aggression.
Yeah, you can by looking at this list, you can see which removals are just the most what type of damage the each color can offer. So red one can deal 2 damage and then 3 damage with the breakout. I think it's covered by Volter's camera, but the card does 3 damage or 6 damage if a unit is guarding a captured unit. And yeah, I think we can move on to the next slide with ambushes.
I will also mention that you should always think about what cost the removal have. So, okay, whenever you played against Aggression, okay, they have cheap removal. but not that they will struggle removing a big unit. But on the other hand, Vigilance has really expensive removal, but it will remove anything.
Yeah.
So maybe versus Vigilance, you should go wider, so play more cheap units, and versus Aggression, you should consider playing a bigger, stronger statted unit. On the other hand, that's why we think Cunning is so strong, because Cunnings do all of those. So they have early removal, and they have also removal for the bigger stuff later.
Yeah.
And the next slide, we prepared the minions that basically act as removal.
Yep.
So every ambush unit or a unit that takes capture, in common and uncommon, and those are mostly Cunning and command cards.
Yeah, and ambush are just really strong cards in general, because they allow you to do 2-for-1s in a lot of cases, and as you can see on the screen, yellow has just access to so many of them, and that makes this color so strong. Green has also quite a few, and yeah, the ambush is just a really strong keyword in general in Limited.
Okay, and of course those you should consider those cards like removal in most cases. So that's why if I put the screen before, you can see that Cunning basically has 8 cards in removal for villainy and heroic respectively, and Vigilance and Aggression only has 2 cards that will act as a removal, and it's a really low amount. That's why we constantly say that upgrades will be a really strong aspect of this limited format, because dealing damage and even ambush cards struggle against cards that have big stats. Okay, and this will be all for this video. And I hope you will do really well on your upcoming pre-releases and draft tournaments. And I hope those videos that we prepared this week will make your tournament results better, and you will be able to win some of the trophies.
See ya.